There's one question you have to ask yourself in the wake of a personal crisis because the answer can change the way that you live the rest of your life. When you have emotional flares, breakdowns, illnesses, heartbreaks, or personal losses, the question you desperately need to ask yourself is this: is this necessary? Recently, a friend of mine told me that she had been diagnosed with IBS, which is something that never in her life before has she ever dealt with until she took on a huge work project. Was it bad luck? Was it genetics? Was it the stress of the project? Or was it the buildup of 1,000 small compromises throughout her life? Does the stress in your life come with the collateral value of substance? Substance being the meaningful payoff of fulfillment, something that was actually worth the stress and not just trying to keep up with everything around you. Asking this question as a filter for every decision you make helps you to build agency to avoid the things that would hold you back or tear you down. And it gives you room to fully accept the challenges that lead to the life you actually want to live. But actually, this question only gets answered by following it up with a small series of questions. Here's what we're going to do. In the third video of this series, we covered essential versus non-essential stress to help you discover stressors that do belong in your life versus those that really just need to be eliminated. Now, I'm going to share a reasoning process that is going to enable you to keep wrong stressors from ever entering your life in the first place. Video 3 covers the what to do to make your life less stressful process of kicking out unnecessary things. Now we're going to cover the what to do to keep your life less stressful by interrupting the entry of those stressors that you don't need into your life. And here's how this is done. We're going to use a meta boundary, if you will, which is boundary setting that eliminates the need for constantly needing to set more and more boundaries after you let a bunch of unnecessary stress into your life. Earlier in the series, I said that awareness is going to give you power over your thoughts, over your words, over your actions. You're going to have more direction, and ultimately this is going to enable you to make better decisions that create better outcomes. You develop a sense of self-guidance that's informed by clarity of what you want instead of just settling for the distracting, dislocated dreams of other people. And there's a really good reason for this that I bet you're going to be able to relate to. And that reason is this. Most people today are so overloaded, they run short on energy to be intentional. We live in a world that moves fast. It demands constant attention and it floods you with information, with opinions, with expectations. You're expected to keep up, to respond quickly, to stay available, and make good decisions in real time all the time, often while already tired, distracted, and stretched too thin. And it used to really frustrate me that clients that I worked with spent so little time on staying clear and leveraging that clarity to make the right daily choices. I would see a lack of progress and I would want to know what's going on. Like, what can I do to help them fix this rut that they're in? This is happening to people across the board. It's now part of our culture. We live in a society that simply runs too fast, burning up essential resources that it doesn't even account for. And it's not that people don't care about their health or their goals or their direction in life. It's that they're operating under a cognitive and emotional load that is just entirely unsustainable. Meaning that in order to keep up this pace, things that are essential end up getting cut from the priority list. And this paves the way for new pressures and expectations to seamlessly graft themselves into your life before you ever regain the energy to assess if it's something that needs to be on your plate in the first place. The longer this goes, the less energy you have to change it because the more it sucks away from you. And the only way to interrupt the cycle is you have to develop a sense of awareness about what unnecessary stressors you might be getting ready to let into your life before they actually get in. Awareness alone isn't really enough. You need something that exists within that awareness, some sort of very low cost cognitive load tool. And what I mean by that is something that you don't have to think super deeply about when you use some sort of questioning process that you can clarify, like a flow chart. You can say, if yes, then this, if no, then this. And by the time you get to that last step, you have the clarity you need to make a final decision and not feel bad about it, not feel like you're leaving something out, not feel like you are being irresponsible, or it's something that you're just going to have to come back to later out of necessity instead of preference. Okay, so let's jump into this process. It consists of 5 questions that I can almost guarantee you've never asked yourself, or you've at least never asked yourself in this grouping. Question number 1. Is this stressor optional? This is kind of like a deconstruction question, and it interrupts false necessity, which is one of the biggest sources of unnecessary stress. People routinely will convert optional commitments into perceived obligations, which dramatically increases stress load. It will reduce perceived control, and this question will expose social pressure, internalized expectations, and these default yes patterns where you just don't know how to say no, even though you felt like you should have from the very beginning, and a yes came out and now you're pinned down and you have to do it. It will restore your agency pretty much immediately, and it prevents non-essential stress from entering under the disguise of inevitability. If it's truly non-optional, then we can let it move forward for further evaluation. But if it is optional, it has to earn its place in your life. Question number 2, what specific value does this add? And is the value proportional to the stress that it introduces? This is a cost to benefit question, and it helps to quiet emotional reasoning, and this question prevents vague justification. It will require some concrete benefit, something like growth or meaning. It has to provide stability, or it has to provide some sort of deep fulfillment in your life. So this question filters out stressors that feel virtuous, but they don't actually deliver. So if the payoff is unclear or somehow inflated, it's probably a non-essential. Question number 3, what existing resource will this pull from? And can I afford that withdrawal right now? This is a resource allocation question. Stress isn't just about what you add, it's also about what gets displaced. And this question makes trade-offs very explicit. We only have so much energy. So this question prevents overcommitment by filtering through honesty about what you currently need, that accepting this thing into your life would cost you. If adding this stressor means borrowing from areas that are already depleted, areas such as sleep, emotional bandwidth, focus, or recovery time, or maybe presence in a relationship, then it needs to be disqualified for now. Even if it might be valuable down the road, it's something you can, by preference, revisit. If I say yes to this now, am I choosing it or just avoiding something else? Now, this is a clarifying question that distinguishes intentional choice from avoidant behavior. A lot of stressors enter life because they either delay hard decisions, they might provide distraction from discomfort, they preserve a sense of identity or approval, or they might prevent feeling uncertain. And this question exposes avoidance-based yeses, and it will protect against stress accumulation through misdirection, and it ensures that you are going to stay aligned with the long-term values instead of short-term relief. If the yes supports any form of escape, then it's non-essential by definition. All right, question 5 is the last question. Given my current stress load, does this belong in my life right now? Something can be good but poorly timed. It can be meaningful, making it appropriate at some point, but maybe not right now because it's destabilizing and can actually end up being harmful because of that. This question will help you honor seasonality. It helps you to prevent identity-based decision-making, and it's going to help you keep decisions grounded in reality instead of idealism. This process does a lot of things, but it does one very specific, very crucial thing very well. Just like the reasoning process that we covered in video 3 of the series, it acts like a blueprint for building a really deep sense of awareness into the decisions that shape your life. Just about finished with it. After 20 years and nearly 1,000 private female clients, I wrote the book that I wish I could have given to them all along. And it reveals how we got so stressed as a society, what that stress is actually doing throughout the different body systems that are affected the most. And it gives you a concrete framework to resolve that stress. And that framework adjusts to what your personal needs are. And we're also building an app that's a daily companion, helping you identify your unique stress profile so you understand exactly what's actually driving your stress. And you can resolve it instead of just trying to blindly continue to manage it. I'm only giving access to those that I'm already in touch with. So if you're interested in being in the beta group, that helps to shape the features of the app. Or if you just want access to the book before its full release, then if you haven't done so already, go ahead and sign up through the link below and let's stay in touch. Now, awareness is just the first of 3 virtues that you're going to develop throughout this series. Awareness will build towards open doors through putting reasoning processes like the one that I just went over with you, as well as the ones that I covered in chapters 3 and 4 of this series. And it's going to enable the second virtue that I discuss next in depth in chapter 6, which is what time and time again women have told me that they're ultimately after. So check out chapter 6 of this video series to understand how a really simple 3-step solution to compound the benefits of everything covered in this series up to this point can work for you.